discuss the different types of problems for different types of beams, elements for different loading conditions. Okay. So just take here first problem. So as you seeing here, for the beam element as shown in figure, determine the end reactions and deflection at midspan. Okay, they are given E value 200 GPa and I value 4 into 10 to the power of 6 mm to the power of 4. So this is the problem. So which is having two elements. Okay, this is the first element and this is the second element, which is divided as a 4 meter and 4 meter as same length for the both elements. Okay. So for this problem, first on the element number 1, the UDL load is acting is 12 kilonewton per meter, and on the second element, the UDL load is acting is 24 kilonewton per meter. So here the load is acting, two different UDL load is acting on the two elements. Okay. Node number 1 is fixed and node number 2 is roller support and node number 3 is again roller support. Okay, for these problems we need to calculate the deflection at midspan of the both elements, because here on the first element also UDL load is acting, for the second element also UDL load is acting, so that for each element the maximum deflection we need to calculate, and also we need to determine the end reaction. That is what how the reaction going to be takes places at the constrained locations or at the constrained conditions. Okay. Along with to calculate this, first we need to calculate low nodal displacements. Okay. The nodal displacements at node 1, node 2, node 3. So as seeing this problem, we know that okay, the node 1 is completely constrained so that there will be no displacement. So at node 1, V1 theta 1 will be 0. Similarly, taking this second node at node 2, so the roller support is there, hence the vertical, whatever the vertical displacement is not possible. Okay, so that V2 we can assume as 0. Similarly, considering node number 3, V3 we assume 0, and only we need to calculate or determine the nodal displacement, that is slopes, only theta 2, theta 3. Once if you calculate theta 2, theta 3, then by using these values we can able to calculate the deflection at the midspans and also the reactions. Let us consider first. Okay, so what are the given datum? So take E as per given datum, 2 into 10 to the power of 8 kilonewton per meter square. High also they are given, so that make it flexural rigidity, that is EI, which is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 8 into 4 into 10 to the power of minus 6, which gives 800 into 800 kilonewton meter square. Okay, so for the given problem, first write a finite element model. Okay, so which is consisting of two elements along with the three nodes. Okay, so write a finite element model consisting of first element and second element along with the three nodes, node number 1, node number 2, node number 3. At node number 1, whatever the force which is acting F1, whatever the moment which is acting is M1. Okay, whatever the rotational load are acting, which is considered as M1. Similarly, the possibility of displacement in vertical direction, that is V1, in rotational direction theta 1. Similarly, at node number 2, the vertical force is F2, the moment is M2, and whatever the possibility of displacement at vertical direction is V2 and rotational direction is theta 2. Similarly, at node number 3, F3, M3, V3, theta 3. And for the both element, so the distance is same, that is L1 which is equal to 4 meter, L2 is which is equal to 4 meter. Now as per the finite element procedure, first we need to calculate elemental stiffness matrix. Okay, elemental stiffness matrix for the beam is given by Ke, which is equal to Ei divided by Le cube, 12 6 Le minus 12 6 Le 6 Le 4 Le square minus 6 Le 2 Le square minus 12 minus 6 Le 12 minus 6 Le 6 Le 2 Le square minus 6 Le 4 Le square. This is the elemental stiffness matrix for the beam element. By using this, we need to calculate the values elemental stiffness matrix for each element. Element number 1 and element number 2 are existing here, so that we need to obtain Ke1 and Ke2. Now, So here L1 and L2 both are same. Okay, so that E and I also for the both elements are same, so that we can make it first these values we can calculate. That gives EI divided by LE cube, which is equal to substitute E value, I value, and also L value, so that we will get 12.5. Okay, so this is same for the both elements, so that this 12.5 we can use it in place of EI by LE cube for the both elements. Just consider first element. So as per the element stiffness matrix, okay, Ke1 which is equal to Ei by Le1 cube. So this matrix remains. Okay, so in place of Ei divided by Le cube, we can take it 12.5. Okay, so 12.5. Then whatever the Le, which is equal to 4, so that 12 6 Le, 6 into Le is 4, so that 6 into 4 24. Similarly minus 12, again here 6 into 4 24, again here 6 into 4 24. So as for this equation, as you multiplying the Le, okay, you are going to get the stiffness matrix for the first element as it is. Hence we need to also calculate as the second element. So Ke2, so Ke2 Ei by Le cube is same, so that we take the value of 12.5. Okay, and as you substituting Le value as 4 in this particular stiffness matrix, we are going to get this matrix. Hence the matrix is 12.5. This is for the second element. So we calculated the elemental stiffness matrix for Ke1 and Ke2. Thus, the global stiffness matrix, that is, we need to assemble Ke1 and Ke2. This is the overall the problem which is having two elements. Okay, the first element and second element we need to assemble. To assemble, as we are assembling, we are going to get the global stiffness matrix. So that global stiffness matrix hence which gives a K which is equal to Ke1 plus Ke2. Okay, now K which is equal to, as we are assembling. So first take it Ke1 and Ke2. So in the Ke1, for the Ke1, the nodes are node 1 and node 2. For Ke2, nodes are node 2, node 3. So that for the both element, the common node is 2. For the both element, the common node is 2. So that only the common points or the common coefficient value is going to be added. Here the common points or common degrees of freedom is V2 theta 2, V2 theta 2. That is V2 V2 12, theta 2 V2 minus 24, V2 theta 2 minus 24, theta 2 64. This is the node, whatever the degrees of freedom are, the possibility displacements at node number 2. Similarly, from the node number 2, the possibility of the displacements are the degrees of freedoms, okay, at node number 2 is 12, 24, 24, 64. So that only these common nodes, only this common coefficient value is going to be added. Then remaining all coefficient values remains as it is in the global stiffness matrix. Now just take it Ke1 plus Ke2. Okay, so these values first write the whatever the values of Ke1. Okay, as you rating Ke1, the last four coefficient values going to be added to the second element of the first four coefficient values. Okay, so as we're writing the first element, 12 24 minus 24 24 24 64 minus 24 32 minus 12 minus 24 to 24 here. See here 20, here Ke1 12 is there, here 12 is there, 12 plus 12. Okay, both are having positive sign, so that it becomes 24. Okay, then from the second coefficient minus 24 here is there, here plus 24 is there, so that it becomes 0 here. Similarly, as we're taking here minus 24, here plus 24 is there. Okay, so as we're writing here minus 24 plus 24, it becomes 0. Similarly, here 64 is there, here 64 there, both having a plus sign, so that it becomes 64 plus 64, which gives 128 here. Then whatever the remaining values of this, okay, in the second element, remaining values of this, already these four coefficient values added to this, okay, to the first element, only the coefficient remaining in the second element, just we are going to write it here like this, minus 12 24. Okay, minus 12 minus 24 12 minus 24 24 32 minus 24 64. Then remaining wherever the locations are, wherever the nodes it is there, okay, there we don't have any the common nodes are also, we don't have any coefficient values, so that we can keep it here 0 0. Okay, so v3 v1, there is no combination also v3 v1 from the element number 1 and element number 2, so that we can keep it this is as a 0. Similarly theta 3 v1 combination we don't have v3 theta 1 combination, theta 3, theta 1 combination we don't have, so that at that particular location the coefficient value becomes 0. Okay. Similarly, at this corner also, okay, we don't have any V1 V3 combination. Okay, see here V3 V1 combination if we don't have means, similarly V1 V3 combination also we don't have, so that we are going to give it is 0 here. Okay, so this gives the global stiffness matrix. After obtaining the global stiffness matrix, we should write the global nodal displacement vectors Q, which is equal to based upon the number of nodes. Okay, we are going to get the nodal displacements. Each node 2 degrees of freedom, so that there will be a possibility of having two displacements. Okay, for the three nodes, we can have a uh, 3 into 2 nodal displacements. At node number 1, V1 theta 1, at node number 2, V2 theta 2, at node number 3, V3 theta 3. So this gives overall or the global nodal displacement vectors. Okay. Similarly, take it load vectors. So for this problem, on the both element UDL load is acting, right? On the both element UDL load is acting, so that we need to transfer this whatever the uniformly distributed load acting over the length of the element, it must be transferred to the nodes. To transfer the nodes, whatever the UDL load is acting, so we are going to consider this formula. Okay, so F, which is equal to P naught LE by 2, P naught LE square by 12, P naught LE by 2 minus P naught LE square by 12. This equation used for each element to transfer whatever the load which is entirely acting on the element to the nodes. Okay, so whatever the load which is acting over the element, it must be transferred to the nodes, so that to transfer it we are using this formula. Okay, so here P naught we are going to take it as minus 12 because the UDL load is acting downwards. Okay, we are going to consider minus 12. Now substitute here P naught values as a minus 12 and also LE value for the first element, because on the both element UDL load is acting, so that we need to obtain the values at node 1 and node 2. Okay, at node 1 and node 2 values we need to obtain, so that just substitute the P naught value as minus 12 and LE value as 4, so that the first term which gives minus 12 into 4 by 2. Okay, similarly minus 12 into LE square is there here, so that 4 square divided by 12 minus 12 into 4 divided by 2, then minus, here also minus is there, in the formula also minus is there, it becomes plus. So 12 into 4 square divided by 12. Okay, this is overall values. The no whatever the UDL load which is acting on the first element, it is going to be transferred to the nodes. Okay, at node number 1 is minus 24, at node number 1 for the rotational direction, it is minus 16. Similarly, at node number 2, vertical minus 24. Similarly, at node number 2, rotational plus 16. This gives the force vector values for the first element. Okay. Similarly, same way we need to also find the nodal force vectors for the second element also. Just take it second element. Okay. In the second element, P naught is minus 24. Okay. So you can see in the problem. So P naught value is given 24. It is acting downward, so that we are going to take it. It is minus 24. So P naught, which is equal to minus 24 kilonewton per meter, and LE is same. It is 4 meter. Then substitute in the second main equation P naught LE by 2. Okay. So P naught is 24. So LE is 4 divided by 2, which gives minus 48. Similarly, minus 24 into 4 square divided by 12, which gives minus 32. Minus 24 into 4 divided by 2, which gives minus 48. Here also minus is there, even in the equation also minus was there, so that it becomes plus. So 24 into 4 square divided by 12, which gives plus 32. This is the force vectors, nodal force vectors for the second element. Okay. So the global force vector. Now, so at the first element, it is having these values. In the second element, the nodal force vectors are having this is okay. The global force vectors. Okay. So we are going to, the node 2 is common, so that at node 2 we need to have add the force vector values. Then as we writing this, which gives the overall or the global force vectors values. Okay. So adding the first element force vector and second element force vector. In the first element, we have minus 24 minus 16 at node number 1. Okay, so only node number 1, it is not having any link, so that directly you can write minus 24 minus 16. And the node number 2, minus 24 plus 16 here also is there. From this second element also we have got the values for node number 2, that is minus 48 plus minus 32, because it is common node for both the elements. Node number 2 is common node for both the elements. So we need to add this minus 24 minus 48 and also plus 16 minus 32. Okay, as we are adding minus 24 minus 48, which gives minus 72, and plus 16 minus 32, which gives minus 16. Then similarly, as we taking the second element at node number 3, okay, so we have got minus 48, 32, and also node number 3, it is not having any link to the any other element, so that only it remains with the same value. There will be no any adding values for the node number 3, so that it remains with the minus 48, 32. Okay, this gives overall the force vector. Okay, minus 24 minus 16 at node number 2, minus 72 minus 16 at node, sorry, this is minus 24 minus 16 at node number 1, minus 72 minus 16 at node number 2, minus 48 plus 32 at node number 3. This gives the overall force vector for the beam element as it is having the UDL load. Okay, once as we calculating force vectors, okay, so then consider equilibrium equation. Okay, so equilibrium equation for the entire body, which is equal to force, which is equal to stiffness into displacement. So stiffness is nothing but global force vector. So already we calculated global force vector, and also we know the nodal displacement vectors and force vectors we calculated here. So just writing all the equations like this. Okay, then apply the boundary condition. So here, for applying the boundary condition, we are following a elimination method of handling boundary condition. Okay, in this elimination method, okay, just whatever the nodes are fixed at that particular nodes, there will be no displacement, so that corresponding rows and columns we are going to eliminate. That corresponding rows and columns we are going to eliminate. So for this problem, we can see here node number 1 is fixed, so that V1 theta 1 is 0. At node number 2, vertical direction is fixed. There will be a slope, there will be a rotation due to roller support. Okay, but in vertically downward, there will be no movement, so that there will be no any displacement possible. Okay, so similarly, as you taking node number 3, also there will be no any displacement takes places vertically downward. Okay, now as for this, as we taking V1 theta 1 at node number 1 as 0, V2 at node number 2 as 0, V3 at node number 3 as 0, so that these corresponding rows and columns we are going to eliminate. Okay, so V1 rows and column we are going to eliminate. Similarly, theta 1 rows and columns we are going to eliminate. Similarly, V2 rows and column we are going to eliminate. Similarly, V3 rows and column we are going to eliminate. So only it remains with added elements. See, you can see here 128, 32, 32, 64, 128, 32, 32, 64. Okay, so that this remains with this equation after eliminating all the rows and columns with respect to V1 theta 1, V2 theta 3. We will get the equation 12.5, 28, 32, 32, 64, theta 2, theta 3, which is equal to in the force vectors minus 16 and 32, minus 16 and 32. Okay, now just simplification. So we are going to be able to obtain theta 2, theta 3. Okay, as we simplifying this, we are going to get the values for theta 2, theta 3. Theta 2 as minus 0.0228 radians, theta 3 which is equal to 0.5142. Okay, so this gives the nodal displacement. So only there is a rotational nodal displacement possible is there for this particular problem. Now we need to also calculate maximum deflection. So maximum deflection is possible wherever the UDL load is acting on the each element. Okay, now consider first element. Okay, so we have the equation, the relation, the displacement variable V, which is equal to H into Q. Okay, displacement V is the displacement variable for the entire element, and H is the Hermite shape functions at each node, and Q is the nodal displacement vectors. Okay, now H is Hermite shape functions H1, H2, H3, H4 at node number 1 and node number 2 for the first element. Okay, and Q is the displacement vectors. Now H1, H2, H3 are the Hermite shape functions. We have got equations for the Hermite shape functions. Just substitute here. So hence it becomes V, which is equal to 2 minus 3 zeta plus zeta cube by 4 for as a H1, okay, and H2 equation is 1 minus zeta square plus zeta cube by 4, and H3 is 2 minus 3 zeta plus zeta cube by 2, and H4 is minus 1 minus zeta square plus zeta cube by 4. Okay, as we substituting H1, H2, H3, H4 in this particular equation. Now we know that for a beam element, okay, as considering the natural coordinate system, the zeta value which is varying from -1 to +1, okay, from node 1 to node 2 it is varying from -1 to +1, but always at the middle section the zeta value will be equal to 0, so that at mid-span we are going to consider zeta value is equal to 0. As you substituting zeta value as 0 in this particular equation, so we are going to get that. So this overall equation, okay, if you substitute zeta value 0, so that it becomes 2 by 4, 2 by 4, which gives 0.5. Similarly, as you substituting here, okay, so it gives the 1 by 8, which gives you 0.125 LE. Similarly, as you substituting here 2 by 4, which gives 0.5. Similarly, as you substituting, this becomes minus 1 by 4 into 1 by 2, which gives minus 0.125 LE. Okay, then from the element number 1, so we need to know, so we need to calculate the deflection, maximum deflection for the each element. So that first consider for the first element, okay, so LE is for the element length, and V1 theta 1 V2. So from the first element, V1 theta 1 is 0, and V2 at node number 2 vertical displacement is not possible, so that we have not got any value for V2. We have just assumed V2 as 0. So just from the element number 1, okay, LE which is equal to 4, V1 theta 1 and V2 is 0, okay, because we assume this is as a 0 value only, okay. Now just write for the first element Q, the nodal displacement vector values as V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2, right? So V1 theta 1 0 as per this, and also V2 as 0, but theta 2 value we have got from this here minus 0.0228 radian, right? That you just write down here. Now as doing the matrix multiplication, this row into this column, okay, so 0.5 into 0 is 0, this value into this becomes 0, 0.5 this value into is 0, then only minus 0.125 into 4 into minus 0.0028, if you multiply, then the value we are going to get is 0.0114 meter. So this is the maximum displacement which is possible for the first element, okay. Then similarly as we taking for the second element, okay, so the for the second element this remains same for the all element, this equation remains for the same for the all element, okay. As you substituting only this here, the nodal displacement vector is going to be changed, okay. For the first element it remains with the v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2. For the second element it remains with the v2 theta 2, v3 theta 3. Similarly, if there is a third element, then it remains with the v3 theta 3, v4 theta 4, like that, okay. So only this values it is going to be changes here. As similarly as we taking this is same value, okay, h values, and only here the nodal displacement vectors values it is going to be changed for the second element. For the second element it is v2 theta 2, v3 theta 3. So v2 as 0 we know, and theta 2 values we have calculated, that is substitute here, and v3 value again it is 0 because there is no vertical displacement, and theta 3 value as we calculated as we got 0.05142. Okay, then again doing the matrix multiplication, okay, this term 0 minus then 0.125 into 4 into minus 0.0228, which gives some value that this value plus whatever this value, okay, again here it becomes 0.5 into 0 minus 0.1254 into 0.5142, this value, this and this value both if we add, then we are going to get the value minus 0.0371 meter. Then in millimeter if we keep, then minus 37.11 millimeter, okay. This is how we are going to calculate the deflections and the nodal displacements for the given problem. So in the problem again they are asking that find out the end reactions, okay. So we need to find end reactions. So just consider for the first element, okay, end reactions, the reaction we can calculate R, which is equal to KQ minus F, okay. Already we have discussed the same equations for the bars and also truss problem. Similar way we are going to able to calculate reaction forces at each nodes, okay. At node number 1, for the element we have got two nodes, okay, node number 1 and node number 2. At node number 1, reaction forces are R1 and R2. At node number 3, reaction forces are R3 and R4. Okay, so just this gives the reaction force column, which is equal to K. Already we have got global the whatever the first element stiffness matrix. Okay, so it is only for first element stiffness matrix you take it. Don't take global stiffness matrix. And Q is whatever the displacement vectors for the first element you take it, minus of whatever the force vectors of first element. Only it related to the only first element. After taking all the first element values of K, Q, F, okay, then the reaction force R1, which is equal to this row into this column minus of this value. Okay, so 12 into 0 plus 24 into 0 plus minus 12 into 0 plus 24 into minus 0.0228 minus of minus 24. If you do this, we will get 17.16 as a reaction force. Okay, similarly, if you want to calculate R2, okay, then okay, so 12.5, this is also we need to multiply. Okay, don't forget this. Okay, 12.5 into 24 into 0. Okay, 12.5 into 64 into 0, and then 12.5 into minus 24 into 0, 12.5 into 32 into minus 0.0228 in minus of this value minus 16, which gives 6.88. Okay, similarly we are going to be able to calculate R3. Okay, 12.5 into minus 12 into 0, 12.5 minus 24 into 0, 12.5 into 12 into 0. Okay, 12.5 into minus 24 into minus 0.0228 minus of this. Okay, minus of third one minus 24, which gives minus 30.84. Similarly we can able to calculate R4 also. Okay, this way we can calculate the reaction forces at node number, okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, each node we can able to get the two reaction forces. Okay, so first node R1 R2, second node R3 R4. Similarly, as you considering the second element R3 R4 at second node, R5 R6 at the third node. This is how we calculate the end reactions and also deflections for the given problem. Okay, understood how to solve the given beam problems with the UDL load?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just similar problems we are going to solve. Okay, now consider this problem, one more problem. Determine maximum deflection in the uniform cross section of cantilever beam. Okay, now the previous one simply supported beam, now this is cantilever beam. Okay, for this you need to calculate the deflection. So by seeing the problem itself we can able to know how the deflection going to be takes place. You know the deflection diagram for the cantilever beam. Okay, now the given values E 7 into 10 to the power of 9 Newton per meter square. Height they are given 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter m to the power of 4. Okay. Now this is the problem they are given. The first calculate flexural rigidity EI, which is equal to 7 into 10 to the power of 6 into 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4, which gives 2800 kilonewton meter square. Okay. Now after calculating this, so consider the finite element model. Just write the finite element model. This is only one element simple problem. Okay, so node number 1, node number 2 it is consisting, and node number 1 the vertical and rotational displacements are v1 theta 1, at node number 2 v2 theta 2. Okay, similarly the element length is LE1. Okay, just find out your elemental stiffness matrix as per the finite element procedures. First calculate the elemental stiffness matrix. Okay, by using this elemental stiffness matrix. So as you substituting EI value is 2800 and LE value is 4. Okay, as you substituting all values here in this particular value equation, EI LE values, we are going to get 43.75. Okay, so 12 24 minus 12 24 24 64 minus 24 32 minus 12 minus 24 12 minus 24 24 32 minus 24 64. Okay, so just here L you substitute 4, 6 into 4, which gives 24. Okay, similar way all you as you substituting here, which is going to be give this value. Okay, and this 43.75 whatever this values. Okay, this gives the element stiffness matrix. So here only one element is there, so that uh, the global stiffness matrix K, which is equal to Ke1, so that take it this is, then write the global nodal displacement vectors for the first element, as we have two nodes V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2. Okay, node number 1 V1 theta 1, node number 2 V2 theta 2. So similarly, we need to write the force vectors. Okay, so just consider first element Okay, only we have got one element. Okay, for that element, so by using the equation, so node number 1 is fixed. Okay, if it is fixed, then no need to consider the force vector, so that here we can take it 0 0 at node number 1. So only it remains with the node number 2, p naught le by 2 minus p naught le square by 12. Okay, that way also you can consider, or otherwise even if you calculate, okay, by considering p naught le by 2 uh, p naught le square by 12 as also if you consider, then you are going to get the force vectors for the given UDL load minus 20 minus 13.33 minus 20 13.33. Okay, but the global force vector summation of the effect of all UDL load. Okay, so and point load, but here you can see here in the problem there is a point load at node number 2. Okay, along the length of the UDL, along the length of the element, UDL load is acting as 10 kilonewton per meter. Okay, then the point load is acting 100 kilonewton at node number 2. Okay, that we need to also add. So even the node number 1 it is fixed, so that need not to consider force vectors. Okay, so that becomes, because that corresponding rows and columns we are going to eliminate, so that we can take it minus 12 or minus 13.33, or otherwise 0 also you can keep it. Okay, this is not involving in the analysis. Okay, whatever these values, even though if you consider here, we in the elimination method we are going to eliminate, so that no need to consider these values here. And at node number 2, okay, so minus 20 as a vertical and plus 13.33 here. Okay, then this minus 100 is, which one is, it is point load, which is acting at node number 2 downward. See here, at node number 2, 100 kilonewton acting downward, right? So these values we need to also consider at node number 2, so that the overall force vector which becomes minus 20 from the UDL load minus 100 from the point load. So that overall load which is acting at node number 2 in vertically downward is minus 120. Okay, then 13.33. So there is no any other movements are applying at that particular node. Okay, so only it remains with the UDL load values 13.33. Okay, then after getting overall force vectors, just write the equilibrium equation along with the stiffness matrix values, displacement, nodal displacement vectors, and also the force vectors. Okay, so apply the boundary condition. So by using the elimination boundary condition, V1 theta 1 is 0 because node number 1 is fixed, so that corresponding rows and columns going to be eliminated. Eliminate this particular rows and column. Similarly, at node number 2, particular row and column, if we eliminate, only it remains in these values, which is at 12 minus 24 minus 24 64 V2 minus 120 plus 13.33. Only it remains with this value. So that we can rewrite here 43.75, 12 minus 24 V2 theta 2, which is equal to minus 20 13.33. Okay, now as we simplifying it, we get the values for V2 theta 2. Okay, so V2 is 0.8762 meter, theta 2 is minus 0.3238 radian. So here it is slope and here it is vertical downward deflection. Okay, so this gives the nodal displacement vector for the given problem. Now we have solved a simply supported beam with UDL, a cantilever beam with UDL, and also with point load. Okay, so the combination of UDL and point load we have discussed. Now again one more combination we can discuss for the beam problems. Okay, so for the both in fixed problem. So we have solved simply supported beam, cantilever beam. So one more type of the beams we can consider both in fixed beam. For this we are going to have a combination of whatever the point load and movements. Okay, so here you can see in this particular problem, okay, at the node number 2, point load is acting downward 10 kilonewton. Okay, then there will be a anti-clockwise direction movement as also applied here. Okay, the couple is also applied at this particular node number 2. Okay, that is 20 kilonewton meter. So this combination problems, how we can able to solve, now we are going to discuss. Now consider the problem for the beam fixed at both ends, okay, and loaded as shown in the figure. Determine the displacement and slopes at node number 2 and reaction at node number 1 only. Okay, only the possibility of displacement having this particular case is at node number 2 only, so that they are asking directly to calculate the displacement and slopes at node number 2, and also we need to calculate reaction at node number 1 only. Okay, so only the target, the requirement is we need to calculate reaction force at node number 1. Now the width and height, the dimensions also they are given, because here they have not given any high value. Okay, because they have not given high value, only they are given e value and breadth and height values. Okay, by using this we can able to calculate moment of inertia value. Okay, so by using that for the rectangular section, the moment of inertia value we are going to calculate, then that high value we are going to use. Okay, so e value is 210 GPa and I, which is equal to bhq by 12. Okay, for the rectangular element. Okay, for the rectangular section, bhq by 12, so which is equal to b is 0.2 and h is 0.4. As you substituting these values, we can able to get I value. Then once if you know I and e values, we can able to calculate structural rigidity value ei, which is equal to 224070 kilonewton meter square. Okay, once if we calculate again, so here we have two elements which is having a same element length. Okay, first element also it is having a 3 meter, second element also it is having a 3 meter, so that at that time we can able to calculate, and we can keep these values ei divided by le cube, because le cube here l is same for the both elements, so that this same value we can use it for the both elements. Okay, so first consider first element. Okay, so ei by le cube value we have got 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3. Okay, that value you just keep it, and here in place of matrix 12 6 l is nothing but 3, so 6 into 3 it gives 18, minus 12, 6 into 3 18. Okay, again 6 into 3 here, this gives 18, and 4 into l square. Okay, so that it gives 9 into 4, it gives the 36. Okay, minus 6 into 3, which gives minus 18. 2 into 3 square. Okay, 9 into 2, which gives 18. Similarly, minus 12, minus 18, 12, minus 18. Okay, here 6 into 3, 18. 2 into 9, which gives 18. Again, minus 6 into 3, which gives minus 18. 4 into 9, which gives 36. Okay, so similarly we can able to calculate the elemental stiffness matrix for the second element also. Okay, then once if we calculated the second element stiffness matrix, we need to assemble, which gives the global stiffness matrix k, which is equal to k1 plus k2. 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3 is common for the both elements, so that this is keep it outside from the matrix only. Then only the last four coefficient values of the first element, it is going to be added to the second first coefficient value. So second first four coefficient values. Okay, so this is very simple assemble, because only we have got two elements. Okay, the common node will be only second node, so that only the second node values it is going to be added, and first and third node values it is not having any connection with any other element, so that this values remains with same. Okay, now just write down first element. Only after writing the first element, okay, only these four values it is going to be added to this. Okay, this 12 into 12 it gives 24. You can write it here 24. Then minus 18 plus 18, which gives 0 here. Then minus 18 plus 18, which gives 0 here. Then 36 plus 36, which gives 72. Okay, so only these four coefficient values going to be added, and remaining all coefficient values of first element remain same, and also similarly all values of second element also remains with same, and whatever the empty places here we can keep it 0, because there is no any the values obtained for this particular combinations. Then once if you got the global stiffness matrix, okay, write the force vector for this. Okay, very simple. The procedure is similar for this problem also, same as it is previous case problems, but only the loading condition is different. Okay, so at node number 2 there is a vertical downward load is acting, that is 10 kilonewton, so that we need to take minus 10 kilonewton. That is what, okay, you can see here at node number 1. Okay, vertical and rotational is 0, because there is no load is acting at node number 1. See here, this is node number 1, there is no any load is acting. Okay, so here we are going to take it, it is 0 0. At node number 2 we have got minus 10 and 20. What is this minus 10 and 20? So at node number 2, vertical downward minus 10 kilonewton, and there is a counterclockwise couple is acting. Okay, so in the beams, if it is clockwise couple, then we are going to consider negative, and if it is counterclockwise couple, we are going to consider positive. Okay, so that this becomes plus 20. Okay, so minus 10 for the point load and plus 20 for counterclockwise couple. Okay, so this was the only the force vectors at node number 2, and node number 1 and 3 is 0. There is no load is acting, so that the overall force vector going to be becomes like this. It is clear now, I think. Okay, then the equilibrium equation for the beam element. Okay, so write the k values and also the displacement vectors and also the force vectors. Okay, so just applying the boundary condition will be similar to previous case problems. Okay, wherever the nodes are fixed, that particular displacement vectors we are going to consider 0. Okay, so that the corresponding rows and elements we are going to eliminate by using the elimination method of handling boundary condition. So for this problem, v1 theta 1 is 0 and also v2 theta is 0 because both ends are fixed. Okay, for this case, both ends are fixed, so that v1 theta 1, v3 theta 3 is 0. So corresponding rows and columns if you eliminate, okay, so only it remains with 24. Okay, if you eliminate this row and column of first node, okay, so similarly at the second theta 2, okay, rows and columns, similarly at v3, okay, v3 rows and columns, similarly theta 3 rows, column and rows, if you eliminate, only it remains with 24 0 0 72, 24 0 0 72, which is v2 theta 2, which is v2 theta 2, okay, which is equal to minus 10 20. Okay, as you simplifying it, we are going to get v2 as a minus 50.22 into 10 to the power of minus 6 meter, and theta 2, which is equal to 33.46 into 10 to the power of minus 6 radian. Now we need to calculate the end reaction, that is reaction force at node number 1 only they are asking. Okay, then just write a equation like this. Okay, only we want node number 1, so that r1 which is equal to 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3 into 2, okay, into 0, which is 0 only. Again, these values and this which is 0 only. Only 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3 into minus 12 into minus 50.22 into 10 to the power of minus 6 minus of minus 10, which gives r1, r2, r3 values. Okay, so again only we can able to values for here you can see r3 and r4. Okay, so here what are the values for r1 you need to calculate. Okay, so r1 which is equal to this value and this, which gives only this third coefficient value 8.33, 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3 into minus 12 into minus 15 to 50.22 into 10 to the power of 6 minus 10, which gives r1 value. Similarly for r2, 8.33 into 10 to the power of 3. Okay, so again minus 18 into minus 50.22 into 10 to the power of minus 6 minus 10 plus, okay, 8.3 into 10 to the power of 3 into 18 into 33.46 into 10 to the power of minus 6. Okay, so which gives minus of, already we have taken minus 10. Okay, for this second element. Okay, so which gives the r1 r2 values. Similarly, so one more type of problem. Okay, a simply supported beam only which is applied for the applying the couple. Okay, so here there is a counterclockwise couple which is acting for the simply supported beam. Okay, one side it is fixed and another side it is having the only roller support. So consider, so there are two elements, because wherever the load is acting at that point we need to locate one node so that it becomes two elements. First element having 4 meter, second element having 2 meter. Okay, so that calculate first the elemental stiffness matrix for Ke1, Ke2. So Ke1, so EI by LE square. So for the first element, the flexural rigidity values which gives 6 to 5 kilonewton per meter, and for the second one 5000. Okay, that directly we can take it here. For the first element 625, for the second element 5000, and as applying this whatever the values of L, okay, we are going to get the matrix like this. Okay, so just here, once if you get the elemental stiffness matrix for first and second, then add it as per the following the same procedure for the to get the global stiffness matrix. Okay, then this, what are the 62.5 or 625, this is okay, this you multiply with this. Okay, so you are going to get 10 to the power of 3 7.5. Okay, as you multiplying for the both elements you are going to get these values. Just 10 to the power of 3 is common. for the both element. Only as for assembling, only these 4 coefficient only going to be added. Remaining coefficient values remains with the same, so that 60 plus 7.5 which gives 67.5, then minus 15 plus 60 which gives 45, then minus 15 plus 60 which gives 45, then 40 plus 80 which gives 120. Okay, then remaining all coefficient values we are going to keep as it is. Then the force vector, only at node number 2 it is only couple is acting, there is no any vertical downward loads. Okay, keep it in your mind. Okay, there is no any vertical downward loads, only the couple is acting, that is clockwise direction. If it is clockwise direction, then we are going to take it is minus, so that so node number 1 0 0, node number 2 vertical 0, and only couple is acting, that is minus 300. Similarly at node number 3 0 0. This is the overall force vector values. Okay, then just write the equilibrium equation as considering the global stiffness matrix and the displacement force vectors. Okay, displacement vectors and force vector. Then apply the boundary conditions. Okay, then node 1 is totally fixed, so that v1 theta 1 is 0. At node number 2 there is no any support. At node number 3 it is having a roller support, so that only there is no having a there is no force is applied in the vertically downward, and also there is no any movement in the vertically downward. Okay, so that there will be no any possible of having a displacement at downward, so that v3 also 0, so that v1 theta 1 v3 which is equal to 0. Then by using the elimination method of handling boundary condition, corresponding v1 theta 1 v3 rows and columns we are going to eliminate. Okay, after eliminating corresponding rows and columns of v1 theta 1 v3, we can able to get the matrices like this. Okay, that is 67.5, okay, 45, 60, 45, 120, 40, 60, 40, 80. Okay, then the 10 to the power of 3 it is corresponding to the all the elements, so that we keep the 10 to the power of 3 outside from the matrix. Then the displacement vectors v2 theta 2 v3 is remaining, which is equal to 0 minus 300 0. Okay, so after simplification, okay, we can able to get v2 which is equal to 2.22 into 10 to the power of minus 3. How to simplify? But you just know that. Okay, so directly we can use the calculator for the 3 unknowns. Okay, there is option in the calculator, or you can use the Gaussian methods. Okay, so the forward and backward substitution methods, which is going to be used to calculate this simultaneous equations. Okay, now after this, we get v2 on theta 2 values. v2 is 2.22 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Theta 2 is minus 3.33 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Okay, the 3 value we got is here 0. Okay. Then for this particular case, they are asking find out the internal loads. Okay. For this case, find the deflection at the point of application of the couple and also internal loads. Okay. And also we have to calculate internal loads. So what is here internal loads? Just here, the internal loads is nothing but the resisting loads. Okay. So at node number 1, the internal loads just consider V1 M1, and at node number 2 V2 M2. Okay. So the resisting forces, internal loads is nothing but the resisting forces. So that force which is equal to stiffness into displacement. Okay. The direct formula, force which is equal to stiffness into displacement. So that, okay, so whatever the force vector which is equal to uh, stiffness of whatever the particular element. Okay, so if it is for the first element, if you want to calculate, consider first element stiffness matrix, and whatever the load vector, whatever the displacement vectors for the first element we are going to consider. Now the first element stiffness matrix is this is, and the first element displacement vectors are v1 theta 1, v2 theta 2. So v2 theta 2 values we have got here, so that keep it. v2 is 2.22 into 10 to the power of minus 3, and theta 2 is minus 3.30 into 10 to the power of minus 3. Okay, so just then again the multiplication, matrix multiplication, 10 to the power of 3 into 7.5 into 0 plus 10 to the power of 3 into 15 into 0, 10 to the power of 3 into minus 7.5 into 2.22 into 10 to the power of minus 3, plus 10 to the power of 3 into 15 into minus 3.33 into 10 to the power of minus 3, which gives minus 16.66 kilonewton. This will be the internal or the resisting force. Okay, internal resisting forces. Okay, for the node number 1 in vertically. Okay, in vertically. Okay, so if load is acting vertically downward, then opposite to that, the resisting force is, the resisting internal force is minus 16.6 kilonewton. Similarly, for the rotational one, okay, if this clockwise rotation, this couple is applied, then so we can able to calculate the rotational opposing force, okay, by using this equation again, okay, by following the second row and whatever the column multiplication, which gives minus 99.9 kilonewton meter, okay, so which gives the a couple which is acting, okay, internally, okay, that is opposite to the apply load, okay, that is minus 19.9 kilonewton meter. Okay. So similarly, you can able to at node number 2 V2 M2. Okay. Similarly, as you consider in the for the element number 2. Okay. At node number 2 V2 M2, node number 3 V3 M3, we can able to calculate by each row and column multiplication, which give the corresponding V1 M2, sorry, V2 M2, V3 M3 values. Okay. So corresponding rows and whatever the column multiplication which use the values for V2 M2. Similarly for V3 M3. Okay, this is how we are going to calculate internal. So don't confuse with reaction forces and the internal loads. Okay, the problems here taken is only for academic purpose for the students' benefits of due to COVID-19.